Hey, what's up guys? It's Legos Ferris Mo here, bringing you another creation of mine. This is a foam board model of the MV Elwha. So, this is intended as a Christmas gift to my friend Fairman2652. It is about New Year's right now, so it's almost 2018, so it's gonna have to be kind of belated. I tried to make it as realistic as possible, however, I did make a bit of a goof as some of the decks are a little bit too high, as I had incorrectly rounded the height of the car deck, and thus that kind of threw off the measurements of some of the other decks. But I think it still looks fine. Apart from that, it looks really, really good in my opinion. So, yeah, let's get started with the outside of decks 2 and 3, the car ramp. So I ended up cutting the windows from the inside, so sometimes the windows will look a little bit weird, but apart from that, I think it's fine. The squares are cut into the side of the ferry, and I did kind of the older style of how the Elwha would get its life rafts out. Now it actually goes back into that hole, but I did kind of this older style because I liked how it looked. There are no life rafts actually in there, unfortunately, but it's whatever. Looking inside, you can actually see the main ramp, and then there's some green duct tape in there, as you can see. I would have put some signage, but I decided not to. I decided just to leave it. There are upper car tunnels and lower car tunnels in there, so that's pretty cool. And the fun thing about these like Art Deco style supports is that there are 12 holes in each of them, so I had to cut out a total of 48 holes for the entire car deck, so that's crazy. Now I'm moseying on to deck 4. This is the main passenger cabin. Here's what it looks like on the outside. I don't know if you can see that, there's a bit of actually some glint to the windows, because unlike the car deck windows, I put some tape on the inside of them to make them look more realistic. The eye holes, as I like to call them, the thresholds to the pickle forks, I think are just a little bit too big, but it's whatever. As you can see, I tried to add a little bit of a life ring there, but I think it looks fine. Now we'll move on to the most complex of the passenger decks. This is deck 6, featuring the ever prominent shelter decks. And here's a look inside the shelter deck. You can probably notice a fire station and then 2 doors, and there's that glint I was talking about. You can even see the reflection of the camera. Here's what the outside looks like. This is on one side. This is on the bathroom side, because the restrooms would be right there. Doors do not actually open, but they do have that window look to them with the tape I added. Here's the stairwell to get to deck 6, which we'll get to later. Got the light in the camera there. And then on the Elwha in the shelter decks, there's like a little ship's wheel on both ends, so I decided to include that. And yeah, on the other side of deck 5, this is the galley side. This is what the galley looks like. And as you can see, the screen door is actually open there. Usually it's closed, but I said to have it in the open position for this model. Over there, that's where the elevator is, and then there's the entryway to the elevator. And it looks a bit different than the other supers because the Elwha was the first one to actually get its elevator. Okay, now we can get on to deck 6. I started with the pilot houses on deck 6. I think I did number 2 end first. Yeah, I did number 2 end one first, and this is how it looks. The name boards are made from the cereal box to give sort of that brown wooden appearance, and I think it looks pretty good. If I was actually that meticulous, I would have taken some yellow paint to get the yellow lettering, but I just used some Sharpie. The windows on the Elwha, just like the Hayek, are really, really small, so they're kind of meticulous and tedious to cut out, but the tape luckily held it all in place, so I didn't have to worry about it too much. The roof, as you can see, is just some green duct tape, and the masts are like this older style of mast, so it's more like a pole than it really is like a more shapely mast as we've seen on both like the Jumbos and the Mark IIs and the Olympics. The funnels were a lot of fun to make. I had to score the inside a lot to get that specific curve that I wanted. In the middle there's like an HVAC unit that's attached to one of the funnels, and I hand drew the flying T onto it. No like smokestacks or anything, I just decided to cover it up with some black foam board. And then there's the other pallet house. You can sort of see the back of the crew quarters, where it has like a little vent and a ladder to get to the very top of it. So you could like change the flag or something. And yeah, that's pretty much my model of the Elwha. Now you'll not be seeing it in my house any longer. It will be actually at my friend's house, so hopefully he might make a video on it and post it to his channel. And oh yeah, one more thing. So I have a little like Hot Wheels car. This is a 1969 model Hot Wheels, and basically it is almost to scale with like the car deck. It's just I made the car deck walls a little bit too high because I incorrectly rounded the height of it, and that kind of threw off the measurements for the other decks. But it's fine because it still I think looks really good as a whole. So yeah. This has been my model of the MV Elwha. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a happy 2018, and we'll see you guys next time.